Large trim latte, please.
Large trim latte. Any sugar?
No, thank you.
Lovely. $6, thank
Sure.
you.
All right there, my friends. It is coffee time, that's for sure. It's let's see, 7:20 a.m. So I've been landed for a while now. I'm just leaving Nelson Airport, and I'm now on the Go 3, and I don't have an external mic attached because you can't do that with the Go 3. But what I might do later on, if I get time, is I might record on an external mic. The Full-Aim X5 has the ability to record like a track by itself whilst it's not connected, and I'll thank you. I'll sync that up in post and see what that sounds like. If I get time to do that, I'll try that later on. So at the moment, I'm just kind of like walking down through the car park here at Nelson Airport, and there's a 5k perimeter walk which you can do. So I've got some time to kill because my bike that I'm riding today, I'm taking an e-bike out for the day. That doesn't open until 9 o'clock. So this 5k walk is like a nature trail that's been set around the perimeter of the airport. So I'm going to do that. Just going to get across here. They said at the flagpole, which is just here. If we just have a look around me here. The screen keeps turning off. I need to sort that out. Yeah, there's the flagpole right there. This should turn right. So let's do that. I've had something to eat as well. When I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I get on a flight on a small plane across one of the most turbulent channels of water in the world, I thought it wise not to eat beforehand. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. There wasn't too much turbulence, but yeah, it's not the sort of thing that you want to kind of invite into your life. Could have been a little bit of upset stomach going on, which I can be prone to with turbulence on a small plane, because you know I've done that a few times in my life, and I know what it feels like. Anyway, here we go. Airport perimeter walkway. Pedestrians and augurs. Pedestrians and augurs. It says someone's stolen a J. I'll to remain outside the safety fence. That's fine. I'll do that. No problem. All right, so I've got a little bit of time here. Yeah, once I did think about. Let's try and get that sun away from me. Here we go. I did think about learning how to fly for a while. I did contemplate perhaps did I want to become a pilot. The screen keeps turning off. I need to get back on again. But I took up a test flight when I first arrived in New Zealand. Yeah, I wasn't going to be like a commercial pilot or anything like that, but I thought it might be fun. And I was living in New Plymouth at the time, and went up on the plane, just me and the instructor. I took the controls. We hit a bit of turbulence. It wasn't too much, to be fair, but yeah, my stomach didn't react well. So yeah, by the time I got down to the ground, I was like full on sweating. But I managed to land the plane myself, which was like kind of impressed myself. I know he was kind of like, you know, helping and nudging the controls every now and again. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Enjoyed it. Okay, this is a no entry sign. I'm coming up here against what I think it's for vehicles. I think I'm alright for walking along here, because either that or I'm going to the value parking section, which I don't think I want. There we go. Yeah, no, I don't think that's me. Alright, we're going to carry on this way. So yeah, I was on a full-on cold sweat, and yeah, that wasn't that enjoyable, which is weird because I've jumped out of planes before, and not even tandems. I've even pushed myself out of a plane, which was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Did that a few times until one time I remember being kind of upside down, looking at my chute coming up, because I pulled the ripcord was being pulled as I exited the plane. It wasn't me doing it. It was a tethered jump. So it's only from like 3,000 feet, about 1,000 meters. And I was doing a series of jumps to kind of see if I wanted to become certificated to do my own like ripcord and be in total control myself. I was upside down, saw my feet, and I remember thinking, if my feet get tangled up in those lines, it's all over. And the instructors watching from the ground thought, I hope his feet don't get tangled up in those lines, because otherwise it could be a bit troublesome. Oh, there's something in the water over there. Oh, it's just a grebe. It was something else. So yeah, that stopped me from jumping out of planes anymore. A very sobering moment when you see a plane disappearing into the background. Yeah, I can carry on walking here. And then you see your feet against that plane with a parachute opening. It's one of those kind of moments that you're kind of unlikely to forget. So what's this look like? I'm not so sure that the go-through is handling that sun behind me very well. So I might, I'm going to go around the corner here actually. Hey, morning. I'm going to go around the corner here in a little while. And we'll see what that looks like here. That might seem like a weird thing to do, but you know, I'd rather do this than sitting around in the airport. And Nelson's not that busy an airport, so even though this is like peak season for New Zealand of holidays, you know, it's kind of like last week in January. Kids are still off school, parents are starting to go back to work now. But you know, older kids are probably seeing cousins or grandparents all around the country. Next weekend will be horrific trying to get through an airport. It's really busy around this time, particularly at the end of the school holiday. So if you are thinking about coming to visit New Zealand, January is a fantastic time, but everybody's on holiday. So it's really quite difficult. You're competing with New Zealanders for like accommodation, transport, everything. Public transport is not great here, I have to say, right? You're either going to be driving on a bus. The train network is pretty much non-existent. Within cities you get some stuff, but intercity there's hardly anything. So you're going to be on planes, and they get busy and booked up well in advance, and they're not cheap if you're booking late. So yeah, be organised. And I would say, personally, avoid January if you were thinking about coming here. Come in February, which is kind of like the last month of summer here. But you know, particularly if you come after sort of like February 6th, which is Waitangi Day, there's a lot of movement around the country at that time. And then possibly even sort of like March as well. March is like the first month of autumn here, but it also tends to be, certainly in Wellington, like some of the loveliest weather, because the days are starting to get a little bit shorter. You get some really nice sunsets, have done in past years, you know, there's no guarantee or anything, but it's just that little bit, it's got that crisp feeling in the morning as well of autumn, which I love. And like I say, it's just a little bit less busy around places, just a little bit more practically possible for you to get accommodation and transport and all that kind of like stuff sorted out. So if you are thinking about coming to New Zealand, I would say February, March is probably the ideal time. Certainly July, August, unless you're kind of like skiing, forget it. Like don't. It's hard yards here in July, August. People think it's a kind of like a South Pacific country. Technically it is, doesn't have that kind of like typical South Pacific weather pattern, although who knows what the future will bring. Unfortunately, I think we'll get some of the bad sides of that. We'll get more severe and torrential rain, and we'll get some pretty hot spells as well, which is going to lead to water shortages, and that's going to change how that water is distributed around the different islands as well. So yeah, all looks like it's going to happen somewhat quicker than we thought it was going to as well too. So none of this is good news. None of that is good news. So sorry to bring it down on you there, but you know, if you are not far away, you know, I noticed that apparently the tourist numbers saying we're getting lots and lots of people from the States coming back to visit New Zealand. And if you are watching from the States, hi, I think about 25% of you are watching from the States. So yeah, it'd be great to see you here. And hey, look me up, right? I live in Wellington. Drop me a message. Let's go for coffee or something. I'd love that. Let me know if you are in town. I'm looking after kids and stuff as well, so may not be actually all that possible sometimes, but I'll do my best. I notice the breeze is picking up a little bit here, so I'm gonna switch off for now, think about battery life, and I'll check back in a sec. Okay, first things first, like as you come around through the airport, that's a sewage treatment plant. And it doesn't smell good, so I'm not going to hang around here too long. But the reason why I am is that actually there are some swallows here flitting around, and they're actually on the ground, which I don't think I've ever, well, very rarely seen before anyway. There's a whole bunch of them, and they're all flitting around and landing on the ground here. So I'm not sure what they're up to, but you won't be able to see them up on a hill here, but they're actually landing on the ground here. One of the things you may not know about me is that I'm actually really into birds, but the feathered kind, and have been ever since I was a kid. I think I was a member of the Young Ornithologists Club when I was in England. I know, super nerdy, super geeky, but you know, it's kind of me, and I loved it. I always have done. Remember when I was at university at Hull, I would go up the coast into this place called Bempton Cliffs, where it had like a really high concentration of seabirds, guillemots, razorbills, and one of my favourite birds, puffins. Puffins were nesting there. I just kind of, you could hide there in the dunes, pair of binoculars, flask of tea. I don't always go alone, honestly, but it was one of the things that I kind of like I have valued, I think, as I get older, and maybe you do too, or will do, is my own company, solitude. And I think, you know, bird watching. It's an interesting bird here on the fence now. Oh, it's just a sparrow. Not just, sparrows are cool. And yeah, valuing my own company. That's not to say that I don't get lonely sometimes. Of course, everyone does. You know, particularly in the last couple of years, I've found myself feeling quite lonely. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I kind of like had to not do YouTube for a while. I was finding I was kind of spending a lot of time serving the algorithm rather than thinking about what I wanted to share with the world and what you might be interested in watching, rather than robots and algorithms. That's lonely. If you get yourself into that kind of a mindset of like trying to serve a platform rather than using the platform as a way to talk to people and to connect with people. And I love getting your messages. That's like one of the best things about being on YouTube, is getting messages. You know, hopefully one day I'll be able to kind of like meet people in real life as well, you know, go to events. You know, that's my dream, right? One of the times that I can go to like one of these bigger events, you know, nothing like that really happens in New Zealand, so it would have to be overseas. But you know, that would be a dream. Anyway, connecting back to kind of like loneliness, and actually the counterpoint to that is actually enjoying your own company. You know, like today, like, you know, I'm traveling, I'm by myself. May have said earlier on is that, you know, me and my wife split the kind of like care of when we're both trying to work. On a Wednesday is kind of like my day where I try to do things, so kind of doesn't matter what I do. So today I booked in to, you know, spend some time making this video, but also, you know, having fun whilst I'm making this video as well. I do enjoy doing this, and I'm really looking forward to picking up the bike in a little while, but also just getting out in the greenery, in nature, walking around. Because a lot of the time I'm sat in my home office at home, which is a spare bedroom. It's got a pile of junk in there as well, which you don't see. It's kind of outside of the cameras, but yeah, it needs a really good organisation. But it's nice to get out of the house. And I don't know about you, over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, find myself kind of like walking and doing the same pattern day after day. Like, you know, and also, you know, we've got 3 young kids, so I spend a lot of time at kindy, at school, kind of like doing drop-offs, at the supermarket sometimes. And then, yeah, that's it. It's pretty much all I do. You know, I used to go and watch cricket a bit more. This year I've decided not to do that because I was picking up YouTube again. I wanted to kind of like just make sure that I had time doing that. And I've really enjoyed it. I don't regret that at all. It's been great. But having days like this where I can just get out. This is like a huge mud flat here next to me. I don't know if you can see that. So that's like an estuary which washes in around this area. You can see some seabirds out here. It's probably just gulls. Just over here you see some white specks. Not sure if the 2.7K image on the go through is going to pick it up. But yeah, just sometimes get out into nature. Like I used to walk a lot more, and with my wife, it's one of the favourite things that we do. So our children are 4, 6 and 13 at the moment. So, you know, once the 4 and 6-year-old are a little bit older, you know, I've taken our 13-year-old away on overnight camping trips, and the little ones have done that too, but they've not really done any walking, the little ones. So hoping to kind of like get that in to their lives. You know, there's complicated reasons as to why that hasn't happened yet, but yeah, it's also, I don't know about you, but you know, life can be tricky when you're away from people who can help you out. Let me pick that up in a bit. There's a bit of a breeze picking up. I want to make sure you can hear me properly. So, you know, one of the things about being an immigrant is that you know, you don't have your parents around. Probably. I don't have my sister around, definitely, as well. And so I miss them. But also, like, you know, when kids come along, you don't have the grandparents around who are able to kind of help you out. Now, my wife's from Auckland, north of Auckland, actually on the North Shore. And her parents live there, but they're a little bit older, not so mobile. And they come down when they can, and we go and see them when we can. And the kids go and see them. But it's kind of not the same as living close and having them on tap. So sometimes it's difficult for us to kind of like get to go and do stuff together. Me and my wife get a little bit of time, you know. We have some neighbours and my wife's church. You know, people offer to kind of like babysit every now and again. It's been difficult up to this point, but hopefully we'll be able to do that a little bit more. But I suppose how it relates to kind of like loneliness and how we spend our time, I wish we could do more stuff together, where it's just me and my wife as well as the whole family. We try and do that, certainly. But being able to kind of like do stuff together is good. But also, you know, one of the things that, you know, I don't know if you found about being in a relationship, a long-term relationship, is that, you know, preserving your own identity is like super important. That's not to say that it trumps, you know, what you're trying to build together with your partner, whoever that may be. But it's separate. What you're building together takes its own life. But it doesn't take away from who it is that you are, it should only add to it. And, you know, I remember having some quite deep conversations about that with my wife, and we're all on the same page on that. But, you know, it can be hard when you're trying to find your way in a relationship. You can feel like, certainly when I was younger, that it can feels like the relationship is taking you over. Feels like it can be suffocating, and I don't feel like that at all. I feel like the relationship I'm lucky to have built with my wife does nothing but provide a platform for us to be the best that we can be for ourselves and for each other. And for that, I'm truly thankful and grateful. You know, just the fact that I get the opportunity to do something like this today could not happen unless we had a strong relationship. And I know my kid's going to miss me today. You know, my daughter was away for the weekend. Daughters, two youngest ones, were away for the weekend, and even after day 2, the middle daughter's like, I miss Dad, want to go back home, which is lovely. But also, you know, just trying to strike that balance between like family life and doing stuff that's kind of good for you as well, as a human being, as a dad, as a father, just you, whoever you are, whatever your family role might be. I think that's kind of important. I think the older that I've got, the more important that has become. So yeah, it's kind of like behind also like the trips that I've been taking to Japan in August, and I'm going again next month. It's about being able to embrace that adventurous side, you know, and that adventurous side changes as you get older. You know, I'm less likely to jump out of planes and do that kind of like physically risky stuff now, because also I feel like I can't really do that stuff so with abandon quite so much now, because it's not just me, it's also going to affect my family. You know, if I hurt myself and I can't earn money or can't take care of the kids, you know, I have a role and responsibility that's changed now. But it's also given me a deeper appreciation for when I did do that kind of stuff when I was younger, how much it freaked my mum and dad out. And I'm also fast forwarding myself into the future as to kind of like how much it's going to freak me out when my kids start doing that kind of stuff, which will happen. But yeah, I have a new appreciation of why my mum was really reluctant for me to be doing that kind of stuff. My dad, not so much. Maybe he just didn't voice it. He would just voice it when my mum became too alarmed or too upset. Yeah. It's a weird position being in your 50s when you're kind of like doing a whole lot of stuff and thinking about being sandwiched in that generation between your parents, but also seeing your children grow up as well. You know, I've had children fairly late in life, and for that I'm like truly, you know, grateful that I've had the opportunity to do that. But yeah, it is a different kind of perspective on life when you do a whole bunch of stuff when you're younger, which isn't about kids, and then suddenly kids come along and you bring all that experience into your life. Sorry, that you've gathered in your life to, you know, parenting, but also being parented as an adult. Hey, deep chat, man. Deep chat. This is a really nice walk. I've seen one runner so far come past me, but if I lived here around about here in Nelson, this would be like, it's a flat pancake, easy run. If you wanted to get an easy 5k run in, this is the place. You see behind me there's the back over there. That's the control tower for the airport. You can hear a plane winding up now with its props on. You can also hear a bird squawking here behind me. And there's a few birds here in front of this field, in front of me in this field, just on the ground here, gathering up stuff for their chicks, no doubt. There's a little finch flitting away. It's nice to have a different rhythm. So today I'm going to be, I've got an e-bike on standby for me. It's because it's a 50k ride there and back. I'm in no rush. I'm going to be cycling to a place called Mapua and then taking a tiny little ferry over to a place called Rabbit Island. And you know, there's going to be coffee stops on the way. I'll be vlogging a little bit with some wireless mics with the X3 and the Ace Pro. I'll probably put the Go 3 away for a while after this walk. That'll go away for a bit. Stick it on charge for a while. And then I'll whack it out later on in the day. I've probably got about 2 hours waiting in the airport at the end of the day. By the time I finish up and take the bike back, because my flight's not until about 7:30 tonight, check-in's at 7. And then it's the same type of prop plane back to Wellington. What have we got here? Oh, some kind of like exercise station we got here, which is quite cool. Yeah, I kind of like Nelson. It's kind of hippie central for New Zealand. There's a lot of people, I'm being flippant there, people who live kind of like, you know, an alternative lifestyle. And I did think about moving here. A lot of people who kind of like work in Wellington do live in Nelson for a different kind of a lifestyle and commute. Hop on a plane maybe once a week. If you have that kind of a life, it'd be quite interesting. There's a golf course over here, it looks like, or a little, it's a little mini pitch and putt. You can see over here. That's quite cool. Wonder if they're open later tonight. Probably not. Anyway, wind is picking up again. I'll jump back in a little while.